Join us for our Autogefuhl review of the Ford Explorer. Let's go! In the front here, the new generation of the Ford Explorer is even more muscular, a very massive stance on the road. In this high trim level version we have here today, also we see the full LED lamps and the LED daytime running light. This is here the ST line, so a sporty front grille, 5 meters 05, 16 foot 6 or 199 inches is the length of the Ford Explorer. Of course a full-size SUV, and you would start with 18-inch wheels when you get the base versions in the US, for example, and also with the rear-wheel drive only, then for a decent price. In Europe we only get the high-spec versions, so plug-in hybrid vehicle, and also all-wheel drive, and a C-line here, all platinum, and you can see the 20-inch wheels, the biggest ones that are available. We'll see about the comfort later. You have the crossover cladding right here, then again the lucid red color, the ST line badge, and the sporty accentuation here in the side skirt. And in the rear, a rectangular design. We hardly see that nowadays anymore. I think it works very well. Then you can see here the LED signature, and again the ST line with the black lettering right there. We don't lose too much space because of this upright building style. Engine bay, 3-liter V6 plug-in hybrid, 457 horsepower, all-wheel drive. Here the electric parts. Seriously? Yeah, that doesn't look too good, but yeah, I can tell it works. And well, while the official range is about 45 kilometers or 30 miles, our tested range is rather some 25 kilometers or like 15, maximum 20 miles. So, but at least there is something. On the driver's side, you charge this 13 kilowatt hour battery, maximum of 3.6 kilowatt AC charging. See here the inside of the doors. This is soft touch, this as well. Then the knobs here for the central lock. Windows, here again soft and plush. Then the inside door pockets, this being the ST line, a sportier setup, for example with the steering wheel with flat bottom and red contrast stitches. The top of the dashboard here is not soft, but not really hard, something between. I like the knobs here. They are, all knurled. It's not really metal, but it's like hard plastic knurled, so it's like an imitation. So why not? Then a US base version would get fabric seats, which is better because it's also cooler in summer and warmer in winter. And of course, animals are being spared. Here in Europe, we only get the high trim with animal skin seats, and they are really greasy. They feel very greasy. Yeah, indeed. And yeah, let's take a test seat no matter what. And here we go. And the cool thing is, of course, here in this full-size SUV, you have an upright seating position. You feel like king of the road. You sit high, have a good overview to the front, and so on. There's this comfort feature, by the way, that when I turn off the ignition, the seat goes backward and the steering wheel goes up. Interior right here. Yeah, this dashboard is fairly soft touch, let's take it that way. Then we have a sporty insert here for the ST line, rather classic dials because we still have manual volume knob, and also here this manual AC, and also straightforward for seat heating, heated steering wheel, and also seat cooling, so that's easy to control. You have more digitalization this generation, so that means on the left side you can get these 12.3-inch digital instruments, and on the right side either you start then here with an 8-inch screen or optional a 10.1-inch screen, the one you can see right here in a vertical way. The 8-inch screen would be more like, horizontal. You can see the digital instruments, left side speed and right side, then you can adjust a little bit what you want to see. Now to this vertical screen. The Apple CarPlay integration looks like this, and this optional B&O sound system, or included also in the European package here, is, yeah, very decent. Pretty cool. You can see here the vertical screen doesn't make so much sense for the Apple CarPlay. And what you can also see, when you have the CarPlay or Android Auto connected, then most of the rest of the infotainment system is dead. So you have to unplug it, MTV unplugged. So, and then you once again get the normal GPS. Yeah, cool thing about the panoramic roof, it leaves a lot of light, especially to the back seats, and it's a long car, and we have very decent legroom right here in the second row, and you can, yeah, move around quite freely here. Headroom with 186 or 6.1 is getting a little bit close. That would be a little bit better without the panoramic roof then. And you can also move these seats here like this. So this would be like the, yeah, I could still live with this here somewhat. So what happens here then? You have this entry function that you slide the seat forward. Then you can, yeah, have a decent entry, and I put these seats away that you can actually see that everything here can fold up the head restraints then. And yeah, so far, I mean, it's rather shallow seating position, like very flat bench, and you can see also how the angle of my legs is. Here in the behind this seat, it's, yeah, rather tricky, but on the outside, let's try that when we move it back once again. So like this, and then indeed this does fit legroom wise. However, you have to put it in the more forward position. So just shown to you, 2,274 liters is the maximum trunk capacity. Let's see how we can achieve that. Here behind the last seating row, you can still store some luggage. That's actually quite good. Then below this here, you have place for your charging cable or cables. Small cubby hole at the sides, and then here these last seats, either individually or fold them both at the same time electrically. So that's a very handy solution. You just have to put this cover there on the top, or remove it completely, that it doesn't hinder the process. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Ford Explorer, finally also now in Europe. And going to talk about the general driving of this big SUV, and of course also today about the plug-in hybrid that is available right here. So first of all, some city cruising, then we head on to the motorway and test the assistance systems, and then we also do some high-speed driving. That's for noise cancellation, stability, suspension, and so on. So first of all, the cool thing here, since it's this big travel SUV and you can carry a lot of people, you also have this upright seating position, traveling feeling, a good view to the front, and of course, you know, from the exterior you have this, you know, very present front grille, so you know that you're being recognized, so to speak. Yeah, behind us is Mercedes G-Class. This one here is the bigger car. Yeah, if that's important. If size matters, you know, matter of perspective. So, and when we're here in the normal hybrid driving mode, the vehicle decides itself when it's time to put on the combustion engine, when it's time to do the EV driving. As for the gauges you see, Ford does not have the philosophy that they want to make it as transparent as possible. And together with the good noise insulation from that engine, you hardly ever know what's happening unless you really push the throttle. So there's also a possibility here, for example, in being a city, switching from this normal operation to the all-electric driving, that you force the vehicle to drive electric. Just, you know, when you really want to have that, when parking in and out and so on. But most of the time, when you are really driving slowly, you are in this electric driving mode anyway by the hybrid mode. Then you can also save switching to the EV mode. And then there's also like the battery keeping mode and also the battery recharging mode. So when you are recharging the battery by the combustion engine, which is very inefficient, of course, it always makes more sense to recharge the vehicle via plug-in hybrid. That's why it's a plug-in hybrid. And I also tested it for, you know, like a 25 kilometer run, and were just like 2 kilometers added. So that's not exactly much, you know. So you really have to have a very, very high mileage to gain back some of the battery via this system. So to me, that doesn't really make so much sense. Good thing is that for example, when you're driving downhill, you can always use the regenerative braking. First of all, roll, and then when there's more brakes being needed, you just use the normal brakes here. And when you're pressing the brake pedal, first there's the recuperation, then when more braking power is needed, then the real brakes set in. Steering, by the way, is quite light and doesn't have big dead zone area, so I think quite likable. We also have different driving modes here, and so not only the EV driving modes, but also the usual driving modes that would any other Explorer have as well. And that is here the normal driving mode. We have for slippery, trail, deep snow or sand. So then the all-wheel drive system is tuned a little bit here. Also the ESC then is set to off in this deep snow or sand mode or trail mode. On the other side there's eco mode with reduced throttle input. There's here sports mode with increased throttle input. We'll show that on the motorway. And this is also in the case where we hear the engine, when we really turn up the RPM. And by the way, next to the sports mode, there's then the towing or hauling mode as well. We do have the active noise cancellation in this vehicle. That means, I'm not sure how you experience it on camera, but I can really tell you it is very silent in here. There's the blind spot monitor, there it is. So when I also hit the turning indicators, then there's also flashing in the side mirrors. So the active noise cancellation, ANC, you know that from the headphones which you wear in an airplane, outside of Corona times mostly. And some people don't like it, you know. Some say like, I feel like being like half deaf on the ear, so there's like a vacuum sucking next to my ear, like feeling. And I can wear the headphones, yes. Although I have to say, at the time when I was more used to it, it was easier. Now I'm not wearing them that often and I have more problems. So it might be about this and in the vehicle as well. What I can say is, it is very positive on the one hand because it really significantly reduces the noise level. 3 microphones are recording the sound waves of engine noise, tire noise and wind noise. And then, you know, the exact opposite waves are being sent to that they even that sound wave out. Definitely very interesting concept, also in here for a vehicle. However, you do notice that difference between this system and a passive good noise insulation, which, for example, we know from the German premium manufacturers, where they spend a lot of time and effort in, which you also pay for, of course. Yet again, this vehicle is very expensive in Europe, of course. So when you think about the $30K entry price in the US with rear-wheel drive model and low trim, here we can only get this high trim model, and it's like 67,000 euros. Like, what? Yeah. So to me, the passive noise insulation feels better. This is also very silent. At some point, this even feels more silent. I mean, I feel myself that I'm only hearing my voice and nothing else. This is really astonishing. You have to test it if you can bear it, you know, or if it's really annoying to you. Test it before you buy this vehicle with ANC. Now, 50 kilometers an hour too. And that's 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles an hour, and are we in a performance SUV or what? This was a very decent acceleration. I mean, this is 6 seconds is the acceleration figure. Here now, these very high speeds, you see that the noise cancellation is not keeping up. High speed lane change. Yeah, actually not too unstable. So fine with that. On the brakes, of course, you feel the weight of the vehicle. So yeah, not too bad. And now at Here like about 120 kilometers an hour. Yeah, like 70 miles an hour, or now like 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. This is a decent highway speed, and especially at these speeds where this car is laid out to be run, it's again super silent by this ANC in here. And now to the conclusion for today with the Ford Explorer. In this new generation, a very cool styling, especially here in the ST line, with this bold front grille, the black shiny elements, so it really looks very massive and muscular, no doubt about that. Interior build quality has been improved, but is still not the strength of this vehicle. Of course, you have decent amount of space on the interior, considering also, it's also a long vehicle. You can also use that 7-seater option. However, then in the driving, suspension is the weak part of this vehicle. It's really rough when you run over potholes. They should improve that. Driving-wise, from the engine, this was very interesting. This plug-in hybrid here, very powerful acceleration indeed, and also decent fuel economy, even if the battery is depleted. Then when you have recharged it, even better, for the hybrid use, or then for the interesting electric moments for the pure electric range, which is less than officially stated. Yeah, I think they could have also put a bigger battery here in this very big vehicle. That would have been maybe even a little bit better. But overall, I think quite good impressions from this drivetrain here today. When does this vehicle make sense? If you think about, you almost get to 80k in euros when you buy it here in Europe. Then of course it has big premium SUV competition, taking a Mercedes GLE, BMW X5 and so on, or maybe even the bigger brothers of that for that price. And then if you also consider 7-seater and so on. But then again, if you think about the main US market, where you get the rear-wheel drive entry version with nicer fabric seats, which also smell less in the interior, by the way. Also when 30k something US dollars, and also smaller wheels, which would also increase the riding comfort, then of course it makes more sense and the vehicle again fulfills its purpose. So these are my impressions here for today. I hope you enjoyed them. It's always great to have you all guys here in our community. No matter if it's good times or tough times, we stick together. So see you next time. Thank you so much.